Hi guys, it's Ramon and Bob here again. We thought we'd do something slightly different for this episode. I'm going to run you through a particular collection of guitars that I've got that is unique in the world. Don't get too excited, they're not incredibly valuable guitars, it's more an indication of my general madness rather than the fact that this is a rich man's pursuit. I'm going to show you a guitar that was made between 1989 and 1991. It was made under license in the Far East for Charvel, who at the time were riding it high because they were the purveyor of choice for kind of shred and metal guitars to the big hair community, who were probably playing through rack mounted amps producing that big hair rock of the time of the late 80s. I'll get one out in no particular order. I'll get this one out. All 7 guitars here are identical. It's as you can see, it's a super Strat. It's got 3 single coil shaped humbuckers, but they're actually stacked. It's got a tone and a volume 5-way switch, and this little switch here, which is really important. This switch switches in an active boost circuit, and the tone control becomes a bit like a parametric, so a bit like a wah pedal. Which really gives you kind of a really nasal accent if you take solos. I have to say I hardly ever use it, but it's there. So it's basically a super Strat. It's got a locking tremolo, Floyd Rose, and a distinctive pointy and upside down headstock. The one I'm holding here is unique. The one I'm holding here was actually resprayed for a trade show. So this colour never existed. This is silver sparkle with a pearl pickguard and Abalone Top Knobs. I mean, it's really very fancy. And it's quite interesting, the truss rod cover has yellowed in a way that the pickguard hasn't, despite the fact they were probably cut from the same piece of plastic, which is interesting. And it's the most amazing grey sparkle. There's a couple of dings on it, and from the dings you can see that it was pink once underneath, so it's a respray. But these are Charvel Spectrums, and they're a particular weakness of mine. A friend of mine way back in the day had one, and he made amazing sounds on it, and I thought to myself one day I should get one. So I actually ended up getting the green one here first, and I loved it so much I thought, I mean, at the time these were probably about £200, give or take, on eBay, and I found myself looking around the world, and so I found the green one, and then I found the pink one.
So let's get this one here out.
Yeah, found the pink one, lovely pink. This is in very good condition.
So this is the standard issue.
That's a standard issue one, yep.
Right.
Standard issue, I'll put that down there. So yeah.
So it comes without the...
Without the fancy knobs, yeah. But, you know, so in fact this one is one of those resprayed.
Right.
Right? So that's a pink one, that pink one came next, then the orange one. And this one I have to keep in a bag because this colour has a tendency to fade under sunlight. If you show the edge, Ramon, you might be able to see it's really greeny there. That sunlight does that, so this is an unstable colour. This was the most famous one. This is the one that everybody wanted to play.
Right.
Because these guitars are modelled on a Jackson guitar that was custom made for Jeff Beck in his mid-80s, in his Flash period. He played that guitar was quite different to these. It was a straight through neck, whereas these are bolt-on. It was handmade in America. There were 3 made. I think there's 2 orange ones and a pink one. But the orange one is the one that looks like Jeff Beck's guitar, which is why it's the most desirable.
Did he use something? Do you remember he toured with Stevie Ray Vaughan, didn't he? There was this famous tour with Stevie Ray Vaughan and Jeff Beck. And I think he used a pink. He might have used a pink one actually.
Okay. That would have been the Jackson, so it would have been like the progenitor of these.
Right.
Yeah. So this is the orange one, which is probably the most famous. And then other colours we've got. There's a beautiful dark metallic blue one here.
So look at this one.
Really nice colour. And they all have matching headstock colours. Although what's interesting is on this one, the paint on the headstock has faded slightly more than the paint on the body. Bearing in mind these are now 30-year-old guitars. Right. So you know.
There's a little bit of a weight to them, isn't there?
Yeah.
They're not light.
No, they're quite chunky.
And then this one here.
Right. This is called Desert Sand, and it's a cream with a black crackle. Again, in very good condition, and the lovely thing about this particular one is the crackling on every one is different. So you see some where it's all kind of wide like that, and you see some where it's really, really busy.
on the back as well.
Yeah, and on the back. It's kind of like reptile skin, really. But again, you know, that's in good condition. I mean, for a 30-year-old guitar, there's hardly a mark on it.
No.
But again, all these guitars have identical configuration. And the one nearest me, I should say, all of these come from different parts of the world. The green one came from Germany. No, the green one came from America. The orange one came from Germany. The pink one came from Aberdeen in Scotland. The Desert Crackle one came from America and was the best packed guitar I've ever received. He took the neck off and he built a rectangular box, foam liner, cut out for all the parts.
Wow.
And sent it, so it arrived like a big briefcase. Unbelievable. I can't remember the guys. If you happen to be watching, mate, and you sent me that guitar, best packing I've ever seen in my life. Fantastic.
OCD seller.
OCD seller, OCD buyer. Marriage in heaven. The last one I'm going to get out is actually the most boring. It's black. It was the hardest to find, and this came from Sydney, in Australia.
Is it got a sparkle to it or
no?
No,
shouldn't have.
Right. It's just
That's dust. It's just dust. So the black one actually came last, and was the hardest of all to find. Now, if you're into these things, you'll also know that they made them with maple fingerboards. So it is conceivable that another madman like me, or even me, could go around the world and trawl them up and actually reproduce this set, minus the sparkly one that I'm holding, with maple fingerboards as well. But actually, I've got 7, that's enough.
Have you tried one of the ones with the maple?
I have. In fact, my mate who had the original one had a maple neck.
And did you like it?
I loved it, but there's, you know, like all maple necks, are a little bit brighter.
Right.
And these guitars are pretty bright by themselves anyway.
Shall we
let's
road test these?
have a play. I mean, everyone's going to be expecting us to be doing tapping and
Wow.
whittling and...
Shall we do? I'll see you what with that. That you went to a kind of a blues jam and used it for some blues.
I took this out with my blues band at rehearsal one day. I took the blue one out as it happened. Makes sense. And it sounded fine. It's a bit like, it's like playing a Strat with a little more oomph.
Right.
So
is it kind of like
how do you find it to play? Is it?
harder in a little way to play blues on this because you haven't got a lot of
meat.
No, But saying that, to do the scale stuff, all that kind of stuff, it's effortless.
Yeah,
you know,
it's quite wide and flat,
yeah.
quite thin neck, big, quite a deep, thick fingerboard. Nice bit of wood and all the rest of it. Again, you know.
Yeah. Well, nice wide frets, aren't they?
Yeah, nice wide frets. I mean, you know, typically, I mean, some Jackson frets are huge. You know, so I mean, pretty typical, you know, metal kind of guitar. But
6100, would you say this is?
Oh, I don't know. All I know is
getting there, isn't it?
6120 is the standard, isn't it? Do they get fatter as the numbers go down, or the other way around?
Well, 6100 was what Steve Ray Vaughan sort of used, and a lot of guys are using to, you know, if you want sort of a wider.
Big, okay.
Yeah, and the taller ones are, is it 6120? No, 1. You can help us out, guys.
6120 is the kind of bog standard.
Yeah, I think that's what Robin Ford, I think he uses those.
Kind of middle of the ground thing, yeah. So these are quite big frets. But anyway, just a little insight into quite a weird collection. But as far as I know, again, help me out if anybody knows of anybody else. I think this is the only complete collection of colours of this guitar in the world. It certainly took long enough to assemble, but I'm quite proud of it. Anyway, so I hope you've enjoyed it. Thanks for watching.
Thank you.